Lawrence's latest home in Woaka isn't quite living up to expectations. He complains that one is never free, never quite safe, and there's always a feeling of being hemmed in and shut down. But he's also able to find the positives, such as the brilliant hot sun all day long and every day, and the mountains standing up dark and bluish from the yellow, blazing valley bed. Freedom is a gift inside one's own soul. You can't have it if it isn't in you, Lawrence surmises, and it's not in the Mexicans. There are a couple of reasons for his discontent. Firstly, everyone seems to be ill with a bad influenza going around, and he soon becomes very ill. Lawrence spent his entire adult life attempting to escape the TB that would eventually kill him, so is naturally averse to any situations that may force him to confront the reality of his ill health. True to form, he blames his immediate environment. Mexico is dry, dry, dry. What he needs is a stroll along the beach, breathing in sea air. Secondly, there is no privacy with Dorothy Brett around. Frida wants to return to Europe to see her mother, and Lawrence needs to see his siblings after the recent death of his father. Subsequently, Brett is returned to the ranch in New Mexico. Despite the briskness of the parting, Lawrence remains concerned for her safety, writing to various friends to look after her a little bit. All of which leaves Lawrence wondering, what is it makes one want to go away? And then more prophetically, the more one travels, the more one doesn't arrive. This is particularly true of Lawrence, a master deviator for whom travel is never simply A to B, and so as he begins planning a trip back to Europe, he fantasises about boarding a cargo ship which will loiter with us to Yucatan or Jamaica or somewhere. 1925 sees the publication of various classical texts such as The Great Gatsby, The Trial, and Mrs. Dalloway. More ominous is Hitler's autobiographical manifesto, Mein Kampf. In terms of his own work, there's some wrangling about whether St. Maur should be published as part of a collection of 3 novelettes, like The Ladybird, which sold well, or published on its own. Lawrence insists, sometimes it's good to put out a little book, and opts for Alfred Knopf to publish it, effectively ending his links with Thomas Seltzer. Although their relationship had become strained, it should be remembered that Seltzer published more first editions by Lawrence than any American publisher, and defended some of these titles in court. But everything we need to know about Lawrence as a writer can be found in a fascinating letter to Carlo Linatti, an Italian critic who sought Lawrence's advice on an article he was writing about him. He is immediately taken to task. Do you think that books should be sort of toys, nicely built up of observations and sensations, all finished and complete? I don't. I can't bear art that you can walk around and admire. A book should be either a bandit or a rebel. The world is not a stage, and art, especially novels, are not little theatres where the reader sits aloft and watches, like a god. Whoever reads me will be thick of the scrimmage, and if he doesn't like it, if he wants a safe seat in the audience, let him read somebody else.